Good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Ritchie. I'm the town planner for the town of Rocky Hill. The reason why I'm starting off this meeting is because we have a brand-new commission. Typically, what happens is the chairman would run the meeting, but because we don't have officers as of this point in time, I will do the honors of, we do have a public hearing scheduled for 6:30. I would ask that there be a motion to take the agenda out of order and raise to the top of the agenda item 6A, which is election of officers. That there be a motion to do so, and then a second, and if there's any discussion.
So Kim, just to clarify, the public hearing is considered a part of the hearing as opposed to a separate proceeding?
No, we're just gonna move an agenda item to get this thing rolling.
No, I understand that, but it's all one agenda. I mean, typically, I think of a public hearing as a standalone, one agenda
No, this
meeting,
is.
and then the regular meeting follows as a separate one, but but this is all mixed together, all as
This
one
is the way we've been doing
single
it
meeting.
for years, and many town attorneys have weighed in on this. So we're just,
I
Okay.
just want to, just looking for, just for clarity on it, because that's,
Yep.
Move agenda item 6A to the top of the agenda and reshuffle the agenda.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
okay.
Agenda item 6A, election of officers.
Do we have a motion for chairperson? Would anyone like to make a motion to elect a chairperson?
I make a motion for chairperson for Steve.
Do we have a second
Second?
Second. For Steve.
and a vote of the seated members, which would be,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yep.
We've
because
got
we have
6 people, so I'm an alternate? Or who are the alternates tonight? Who are,
both Dawn and Bill are the alternates, but we have 3 on one side and 2 on the other, so it would be these 5.
those 5, so I'm, okay, so I should not have seconded, I guess, then.
So, yep.
So I withdraw that second.
Second.
We had a few people second at the same time.
So move to vote, it'll be us 5 voting, right?
Correct.
Move to vote, just raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So now we have a new chairman. Mr. Chairman, would you like to continue running the meeting?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Nomination for vice chairman. Do I have a nomination for vice chairman?
I nominate Dan as vice chairman.
Is there a second?
Second? Yeah,
Yeah.
I second.
Well, first of all, it's a motion, so make sure you said, you gotta make a motion to, he has to motion it.
Secretary. Tony.
Tony has.
Tony, just, you mean, make a motion to, for him, and so then he can second it. We can't second it unless you motion it.
Oh, I
So
make a motion
yeah, there you go.
Make a motion
for
to,
Dan for vice chair.
There you go.
Now is there a second
Okay.
for that motion?
I'll second.
Okay.
Let me call the vote.
Anybody want to discuss it? You good? All in favor of the motion? Say
Aye.
aye. Any opposed, abstained? Good. Now I need a motion for nomination of secretary.
My motion, Tony for secretary?
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that? Okay. All in favor of Tony as a secretary?
Aye.
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed, abstained? Good. Good. So
Thank-
that's it for officers.
thank you. I would also remind people to, I do tend to jump in and interrupt, and I apologize, but that's my job. I would remind people to talk into the microphone as we are recording, okay?
So at this point, I guess we can move on to public hearing, first item on the list. So,
So either you or the secretary reads this into the, reads it now.
okay, so
Read it into the minutes. So
Tony-
either you can do it or your
I'll
secretary
have,
can do it.
I'll have Tony do it.
What am I reading?
Are you reading 1A?
Yes.
Of the public hearing?
Special permit application. Excuse my pronunciation if that's correct. Nadeem Khalid.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Proposing to reconfigure a site from a former auto repair gas station to a gas station convenience store for property located at 940 Cromwell Avenue in a C Commercial Zone District, ID 16-264. We'll be discussing the applicant to respond to comments from commission, allow the applicant to submit updated plans, and allow the applicant to get more specific signage details.
Before we proceed, as staff, I just want to state for the record that the previous commission did hold a public hearing on this item. So I did reach out to the applicant and their engineering team to see if they could provide some sort of framework for this current commission, since there's many of you that are brand new to this project. So if we could start anew, so to speak.
Absolutely. Good evening. My name is James DeMeo. I'm a professional engineer in the state of Connecticut, working on the project for the applicant. So as mentioned, we're at 940 Cromwell Road. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Oh, great. Thank you.
No. Okay. I think there we go. Okay, so where the property is located is kind of halfway between, West Street and just north of 91, right at this pin. And also at the corner of DiPietro Drive, which is a private drive. It's, again, currently already developed. This is what the street view is right now. So there's four fueling dispensers, the canopy. It's an automotive repair with small convenience inside. And then, again, all the associated improvements and parking to go with it. This is a little snippet of the existing conditions and the topography. So as we can tell, it's pretty flat. I mean, even from the street view, we can tell this site is pretty flat, just all around. And what we did, we've already gone in front of ZBA and obtained two variances. The first variance is a reduction in the front yard setback, which went from 18.8 feet from the canopy. So that was right in this corner of the canopy to the property line. And then the other variance is for the drive aisle width for one-way traffic going from 16 feet to 14.9 feet. And the reason for that is what we are proposing to do is reconfigure the fueling canopy and dispensers in the front of the property. So instead of having two parallel pumps to where, if the first car leaves, second car is there, now nobody can access that front pump. We're going to rotate them 90 degrees, so now vehicles will either be facing the convenience store or Cromwell Ave. So they're going to be 90 degrees, so they're basically going to pull in. And we're going to go from 4 dispensers down to 3 because now, again, it'll be a little bit easier for people to get in and out and choose which dispenser they're fueling up from. Now, in order to do that, what we are also doing is we're reconfiguring the parking. So all the parking that's on the south side that's currently there, we're going to eliminate that parking, and we're actually going to bring it up in front of the building. Because now, again, our use, we want to have mainly a convenience store inside the building. So we want to bring the parking all the way up there, adjacent to the building. We'll have a 24-foot wide driveway for two-way traffic, then the fuel pumps, and then we're left with the 8.1 feet to the property line. So that's how we kind of came about that 8.1 feet for the front yard setback is mainly so that we have the two-way traffic and then the one-way afterwards. In terms of parking and everything else, we didn't need any other variances. Literally, our only variances are for that. We're doing very little of other site improvements. This is just a blow-up of the zoning table, so obviously commercial. We're really not changing much other than the variance for the front yard. So this is a snippet of the demo plan, and basically it's just saying we're demolishing the existing canopy and the fuel pumps, and we're going to reconfigure it to the front. There will be some slight grade changes, which I will actually show you. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. And I'm talking slight grade changes for the ADA access. We're only talking about 3 to 4 inches of grade change in this front here. So literally we're keeping the site the same. Like we don't want to change much, but we will change that in order to have ADA into the building. Aside from that, what we're going to do is we're also going to extend the existing landscaped island in the front. And the reason why we're going to do that is to reduce the mouth of the curb cuts along Cromwell Ave. DOT typically doesn't like to see anything over 30 feet. We are significantly over 30 feet now. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce that down, and it will still allow for two-way traffic in and out of these curb cuts, but it's just not going to be as massive. And this way it also shields people refueling. So if you can tell, the island is pretty much directly in front of all of the refueling dispensers. Aside from that, just some basic line striping. We are going to have a loading space off into the back, just out of the way. Plenty of room for two-way traffic to be able to get all around. One of the requests from the previous commission, or when we were in front of the commission the last meeting, they indicated that they would like to see a bike rack. So we are going to propose a bike rack on the side of the building over here. They also wanted us to update the site plan to show where the AC pad was going to go, and that's off of this corner. Aside from that, we're going to utilize existing pavement here for a dumpster, and it will be screened with the enclosure. This is kind of just a little blow up of the refueling dispenser, so it's kind of showing where the columns are. There's going to be some like the bollard metal barriers, so that this way, they're protected from the vehicles. And a small little raised island, it's standard gas station. Provided a detail of the bike rack in case anyone was interested. This is from the utility plan to show you the extent of the utility work that's going to need to be done. We're going to have to relocate a water line slightly because it's going underneath some proposed columns. So we're just going to have to reroute that maybe 5 feet, and we're going to have to reroute a stormwater line. So we're basically just going to drop a manhole, reroute it, and keep it exactly the same as it is now. Aside from that, we're going to have the two 12,000-gallon underground tanks, basically in the same location where the existing tanks are now. Aside from that, that's really it in terms of even utility changes. For sediment and erosion control, because the site is already improved, and realistically, unless we have to do major repaving, we're going to try not to if we can keep everything clean and nice. So what I'm depicting is straw wattles at the entrances, or the entrance to Cromwell Ave, which is basically because the whole site is graded in that way anyway, so to protect if we do any soil disturbance, we're covered there. Some silt sacks in the two existing catch basins. During the excavation process, for the tanks, or anything else. If we have materials, they would end up being stored here off to the side, and again, surrounded with straw wattles because it's on top of pavement. I did also designate some additional snow storage areas. So we have to the north, we have plenty of room over here. On the south, where the old parking spaces are, we'd be able to pile snow there as well as beyond where we would have the existing loading space. So we'd be able to kind of push snow out of the way wherever needed. And then due to some of the concerns of engineering, we're also indicating on our plans that, any snow that gets accumulated on this island needs to be removed because engineering was concerned about the front overhang of vehicles going over the curb, and they were worried about the snow. So we're indicating that that's part of the site plan and part of the requirements. I have turning movements for the refueling vehicles. So this is traveling north, coming onto the site. So the vehicle will be able, the tractor trailer will be able to get onto the site. All refueling happens during the night, during off hours, typically between midnight, 5 a.m. So there's going to be nobody else on site, so I'm not worried about the vehicle having to encroach upon a parking space during these deliveries or anything like that. It's not going to cause any disruptions. So the vehicle will be able to travel north and leave. Same thing, this is demonstrating coming south. So the vehicle can enter this from the north onto the site and again make its way out without any issue. These movements are depicting a normal, like sedan vehicle entering on the one way and trying to go into a refueling spot. So I kind of chose the worst two places. So the vehicle would be able to turn off Cromwell, come down this one way, and come to parking space 16, refueling space, and without an issue. And same thing if they were at 15 and they wanted to leave and go to the west and south, they would be able to leave that space without much of an issue and be able to travel south. This is really demonstrated to prove that the variance for that one-way travel width can be achieved. Same thing, this one, at the request of the commission, they wanted to see something bigger, like an F-350 or a bigger pickup truck. So that's what these are. Again, exact same paths as the last one. It can do it. It can make it. But we just wanted to demonstrate that. This is an example of another fueling canopy that we've done on another project. So it's not quite the exact same because we're only going to have 3 posts in this one, but the height would be the same, and same thing with the face of the facade. So I wanted to include it for the commission to be able to see. And again, it's going to be very similar to kind of what's there now. Again, incorporated gutters that'll be able to kind of come down the column lines, and then that can just get tied right into the catch basins too. Front view of the building. So this is what we want it to look like. If you remember, we had multiple garage door bays, and then there was a pedestrian entrance all the way to the right. So obviously we're kind of closing that off. Main entrance is now closer to the middle, and that our ADA space is kind of in line with that. Basic floor plan, walk-in freezer, walk-in coolers on the left. We have bathrooms in the back, coffee counters. Cashier. It's all, prepackaged foods. Nothing's made on site. Obviously aside from coffee. But that's really it. And then again, just providing some additional elevations of what the sides are going to look like, the back, and then the front again. So that's the long-winded and tried to recap as much as I could for you guys, as well as include a bunch of the changes. So what do we got for questions?
Do we ask questions now or after?
Go to the public first. And
You can go either way. I mean,
It's typically those in favor, those against, or those with questions, those in favor, those against, and then the questions are held to the end, so they don't respond now, but then the commission asks their questions, and then there's usually a response
Yeah.
by the,
So we ask the public if they.
Yeah, you can do
anyone
that. It's
in
fine.
favor from the public that wants to ask a
you
question?
don't even have to say that. Use anybody in the public who wants to.
yeah.
Anybody in the public that would like to comment or ask questions at this time? Last chance? No? Okay.
All right, now you're up.
A chance for questions?
Yeah, so you would usually go last, and then you delegate who you want to speak first, whether it's
yep.
your guys or us or whatever, doesn't matter. You choose.
I'll start from the left and just work over
Okay?
there. So Dan, do you have any questions?
Make sure you're talking to Mike.
Let me stop
Yeah.
leaning back. Dan, you have any questions for the?
I don't have any questions at the moment.
I have a few. Mr. DeMayo, you did a very nice job summarizing all the plans. I was kind of curious, you went, your sheet number 7 in the documents, I think is the car approach.
Yep.
When I had taken a look at the first set of plans we had, this was sheet number 4. So it looks like you added another view with the larger cars, with the larger vehicles.
Correct.
It does look rather tight for a car to get into the lanes for the pumps there. They're actually kind of going over the curb or brushing up against it. Does that island have to be the size it is?
So
I know you're expanding an existing island. My first question was going to be, do you need that island at all? And you did explain that already. DOT requires it.
Yep, well, DOT requires, they don't like to see any curb cuts wider than 30 feet. So that's this mouth here, like this driveway width.
Right, and you showed that on
Yeah,
the
which is
previous.
why we're elongating. Simple answer is, and I put this in my latest response to the engineer's comments, the reason why we obtained the variance, and we have no necessarily objection to reducing it as long as DOT allows it. So what we're trying to do is we would like to get local approval for the worst-case scenario, and then if DOT allows us to shrink that island, then we're going to shrink the island and create that wider width. But, you know, it's ultimately up to them because all that work is within their right-of-way. And again, that's why we went through the effort of getting the variance first to then, you know, at least this way we're covered in the event. But that would be what we'd like to try.
So you note this is also a tight spot, and if that island can be shrunken with, you'll
Yes.
approach that.
Yes.
That's good.
If I may, just so, and I'm sure many of you understand this, but for the record, when properties are on a town road, the town has jurisdiction. When they're on a state road, anything within the right-of-way, the state really does have control over. And while the commission could certainly condition something to have an applicant consult with the state to see if they would do X, Y, Z, it cannot be a condition of approval that they mandate it, because it's not up to the town, it's up to the state.
Yeah, I understand.
But just know we would prefer it to. And we have no objections to trying to push it, but again, it's in their hands. And we feel that the fact that we're maintaining the existing width is at minimum what they will hopefully allow as well.
Okay. So this will be the minimum.
That, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, we would have to potentially revisit our conversations with Rocky Hill.
Okay.
Is essentially what would happen.
There were a few actions that were taken at the last meeting you were at, and going through the minutes of that meeting. And there was like there was an air pump that you were going to include in the design.
Yeah, we have ample locations to put that. I mean, realistically, probably one of the best places for it is actually on this northern, this northern side of the building. Yeah, I could call that out, and even if that was a condition, that's not a problem.
Well, I'm just going through the action
Yeah,
list that I saw from the last set
I
of
missed
minutes.
that. I missed that on my revisions.
Would that be included then? Yep, so that would be included on the, okay. You were to pass by, I guess, the planning commission on the status of the signage,
That's one of the days.
so was that accomplished?
This is Nitin Phalit as applicant. We are trying to maintain existing square footage of the signage. It's going to be, it's going to be one sign going to be in a building, it's going to be separate permit, it's going to be approved by that, whatever the conditions are, approval based upon the zoning regulation. And the existing sign will be a digital sign. Again, it's going to be applied to zoning and whatever they approve based upon, we are going to install it.
Okay, so Kim, is
The
that
sign-
your?
The signs, yeah, the signs may have to come back to the commission.
Okay, but that's your
Yes.
group's, okay.
Yeah.
And the canopy evaluation by the town engineer. That's obviously your area. Okay. Then the ADA compliance evaluation was complete?
Yeah, yeah, so that was that ADA parking space and the grading there. Yeah, no problems. Again, we just have to pick up the grade in that area less than 6 inches. I think the worst spot was 6 inches. So it's not much.
Right, it was minor.
Yeah, very, very, very minor.
The only other action I saw there was the status of the erosion and sediment plan.
Yep. So that was, the main conversation with that was the main concern over if during the excavation for the tanks or any other significant earth excavation, if there was contaminated materials and where the materials were going to be stockpiled on the site. So that's why I called out this area here, and it'll have to be, surrounded by straw wattles because it's on top of existing blacktop. So there's really no other place for us to go. But yes, that is clearly depicted on the plans. Yeah.
Okay. And Kim, maybe you could help with this one. I went through our zoning regs, and I saw a blurb in there that there's a Connecticut statute 14-321 compliance requirement for a license if the place was unused for a year or so.
Yeah, well, they did go to zoning board of appeals, so.
You are talking, you are talking
For-
about
for-
that
it's no-
gasoline license?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
no longer a repair place.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Once this site, not to interrupt you, once the site is in process, we are going to apply for DP for that gasoline license. So they will verify the site is in place, so between zoning, fire marshal, and building, they will sign up the application, then we are going to apply for the gasoline license, and we have it, as well as it show it used to be a gas repair, that license is going to be withdrawn. It's going to be a C-store that will be gone. The automotive repair license will be gone.
And I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that'd be probably part of the condition of, or what's reviewed for the ZCC in order to, operate.
Yeah,
I-
you have
I
to make
would
sure.
assume,
You have
yeah.
to make sure all that's in order.
Correct,
yes.
yeah, before zoning could bless the fact that they can open.
Yes, okay. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was something we had to act on or if that was something that follows on down. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
You're
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm good. I'm good for mine.
Victor, here, get Bill. Hope Bill gets to ask too.
Yeah, thanks.
In the public, everybody gets that.
Yeah, I just one question. With respect to rotating the pumps 90 degrees and changing the driving lanes from parallel to the street to perpendicular to the street, is that kind of the general state of the art now, or is that something that's site-specific?
It's a little bit of both. It's site-specific on a lot of properties where the buildings are, a lot of gas stations are on these smaller properties where the buildings are pushed very close to the road. And in those situations, you really don't have a lot of room. So you end up with those parallel configurations. And in order to get more pumps, you know, you kind of have that stacking. It's just not as efficient. So if you can get away from that, it's better. But that's why you see it a lot of times, because they're trying to just fit it in. But this is more efficient. So, and we would rather lose a refueling station and get this configuration than have the 4 dispensers and have to be parallel.
Is that from a safety standpoint or efficiency or?
Efficiency on site
Okay,
and business standpoint.
okay, thank you.
Is that it for questions?
That was it for me, yes, thank you.
Okay, so, I got a couple here. You explained truck movements on the site, and you explained, where they fuel the tanks and how that's gonna be done after hours. What are your hours? Is it 24 hours? Is it
It's going to be 5 a.m. till midnight, sir.
10 to midnight?
That's correct.
Okay.
And all the fueling, all the site fueling for all the supplies will be between anywhere 12:30 to 4 o'clock. That's where we are instructing them, so that way there's no issue with that.
So fuel and deliveries will happen off time, or you'll have
That's correct.
deliveries
It's
during
gonna be
time?
off time, that's correct. It's gonna be anywhere like 12:30 to 4 o'clock. That's what we are going to instruct.
Okay. If you had a delivery during hours, would you deliver through the front door, or would you have a side entry for delivery? How would that work?
For the convenience store, sir?
Yes,
So there's gonna be a loading dock and going to be enough from the side door.
on the side door on the southern side,
That's correct.
Yeah.
okay? And that's why you show near the snow storage on this map right here?
Yeah. Where'd it go? Yeah, right here in where it says bit curb, that rectangle right there is the loading space.
And they bring their deliveries through the side, or they deliver them through the front?
Majority they bring on the front.
Through the front?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we also instruct them because of like, not rush hour, they bring it like according to our schedule. That's correct.
Yeah, and basically they'll be able to unload and walk in front of all the parking spaces down the sidewalk and into the door anyway. So it's not like they're going through traffic as well.
You had a worst-case scenario slide of movement of a quote-unquote F-350. Can you put that slide
yeah.
back up?
Sheet 7.
So you show this as just basically a big pickup truck.
Yes.
What about someone hauling a trailer?
So trailers are going to be with this configuration, those are the more difficult movements. What'll end up happening is, because we have the full 2-way traffic here, they'll be able to kind of maneuver, and they will also be able to cherry pick which stalls that they're going to go to. A lot of these convenience stores and gas stations, what ends up happening is if they're spread out, or they're not spread out like by that much. So if one is inconvenient for you, you kind of just move on to the next one. So that's what we essentially foresee happening with this. Again, either they'll cherry pick the exact spot that they're going into, or they'll just drive right by and go on to another spot that's more convenient.
So this picture, the fear in this picture right here is queuing on Cromwell Avenue. So if you have a big trailer or a big truck movement, big pickup, whatever it is, and they're trying to decide how they come in the site, I mean, you even depicted that the back end of their vehicle could be on Route 3 as a queuing problem.
It really shouldn't, because not only can they go to the south down this one way, they have a 2-way straight ahead. So realistically, that I'm showing this the going down the one way because it's a more difficult movement, but that's not going to be the pattern of most people. Most people are going to pull in straight to just get off the road, and then they're going to end up in this 2-way section of the parking lot and be able to come back into any of the fueling stalls. So that's going to be what most people end up doing because they just want to get off the main road and, you know, get to safety. I just depicted this one as, again, a worst-case scenario. I highly doubt that there would be queuing because even if there was, so what would end up happening is as they turn off Cromwell and they start to head south down the one-way, if there's no stalls that they want, they can just keep going south and then take a left and circle back again and create that loop around. So I actually think that there's going to be a lot less queuing because what ends up happening too on the parallel is there's really only like one bypass lane, and that's usually just like one, there isn't the 24 feet. So if you have a truck with a trailer taking up both the fueling stalls, and you have somebody coming off trying to go in that bypass to the south, but then somebody comes and tries to go to the north, there's only enough room for one of those vehicles. So at least this way, we're creating a circular motion and forcing the circular. So hopefully there should be a lot less stacking and queuing and, you know, especially off the site.
Will you have diesel?
It's gonna
Yes.
be on one of the end pump.
Yeah.
Number is gonna be,
Yeah, like,
yep.
yeah, the one that's the most northmost.
So that would be for box trucks and have the ability for box trucks and those diesel-type vehicles?
Yeah.
And you compensated for those movements in the other slide?
Yeah,
of
well, I didn't depict those movements, but that's the easiest pump and the easiest movements because it's just right off either Cromwell if they're coming in the northern entrance, or if they're coming in the south, they're coming down the two-way, and they're able to just get to that very easily. So that's one of the nicest movements for pretty much any of the
That's your
pumps.
spot 18.
Yeah, spot 18, yeah.
The lighting on the site?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lighting plan, or what are you guys doing for lighting?
So the only changes in lighting are just going to be the underlights in the canopy. That's
There's no parking lot lights?
there's existing ones, but we're not touching any of those. Again, really, ideally, we're just trying to repaint as much as we can and touch the site as little as possible. Obviously, a couple things need to be upgraded, but that's about it.
To that point, you have a lot of landscaping on the northern border. Is all that staying? All those evergreens and that's all staying?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I have nothing further.
No, I'm good, thank you.
I got a question. For traffic that comes in from the south,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times people intend to cut through where the one-way is to go to like the second or third pump there. What would stop that traffic from going there?
Somebody leaving.
Aside from pavement markings and a sign, there's really not going to be anything that is
So you don't
going.
have signage, basically. for that.
Yeah, I mean, at most, we're going to be able to have a sign, but, which, you know, the only main issue is making sure it doesn't block the stop sign, or the stop sign doesn't block that, because that's really the only place where we can actually put it, which is why I'm really not even depicting anything, because signage isn't really efficient there. So these arrows are intended for actual paint markings. There's not much.
Okay, so the arrows-
And honestly, and that's why I kind of brought up the other situation before with the parallel spaces, is because there's really, it's not really defined either way. So even if somebody did come in, they'd most likely be grabbing a space real quick anyway. So the hope is that it's,
But
wouldn't really
basically,
become an
those
issue.
arrows that you have marked, those are actually going to be marks on the pavement?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all set.
Yeah, I mean, I could also add
Back to you,
only
I have a question.
on it, to, you know?
You talk about the ones in the front here, right?
Yeah, that was his main concern, yeah, along Cromwell, yeah.
These ones?
The big arrows?
Yeah, those signage, yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'm all set. That's it.
I also have a couple questions.
Sir?
Obviously, it is a tight site, and I think several of the commissioners have expressed concern about the tight site. I have an engineering background, and I've never relied on or have used those turning radius templates, because they are not, in my opinion, real life, as opposed to what actually happens out there. So that's concerning, especially with the tight site. And I mean, you can even see it on your templates that you use, how it's hitting something, or it's going to run into something, or something like that. Aside from that, my initial thing, looking at the perspectives and the elevations, and Kim, has this already gone through building and fire, or is this initial?
They have looked at it. Building department does not review the plan as far as building codes go initially. Fire does, police does, health does, engineering, yes.
Just looking at it, 2,400 square feet or so building. There's only one exit out of the building, the front entrance. There's no side, back entrance door.
Again, we'll make sure it meets all the building codes.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, you know, we'll be working with the building department and fire marshal in order to make sure that that is compliant. I mean, we have a couple of other easy locations where we'd be able to throw additional doors, so that's,
Yeah, that's more of a, yeah, that's more,
No.
yeah, yeah, we don't deal with building codes here, but,
Well, that just goes
the-
back to, if they do put another entrance, they gotta have a sidewalk, and then where's the
Yep. That's
sidewalk
right.
go?
Yep.
It's going out the back, you gotta.
It's dependent on with the fire department and the building, what the occupancy load is, so that, I think, like, the way, what I've been doing this thing last 30 years, so up to like at 3,000, 3,200 square feet, they let you have it one, it's gonna be double door anyway, so it's basically that people can in and out at the same time.
Well, that's, I leave it to the coders, but just looking at it, just kind of baffled me that.
But definitely, once you approve, Mr. Chairman, after that, we are going to go through the whole protocol. You know, fire department will look into that, building will also look into that.
but we should have ample locations for egress and, or ingress and egress on top of existing concrete or blacktop, to where we won't have to add additional sidewalks or anything like that.
Right. You talked about the paving. You were basically gonna patch anything you, or were you gonna redo the whole parking lot? It seems like you're taking a majority of the parking lot anyways,
Yeah, I think a lot of it's gonna depend upon the condition, but worst comes to worst, yeah, we'd
especially if
end
you're
up.
putting in new tanks. I think you're gonna be tearing up.
Well, that's under concrete. It's under existing concrete now, and then it's gonna be concrete after. But yeah, basically, it's gonna just be evaluated, and same thing where the ADA spaces are, that's on concrete right now. So there is gonna be some paving, but again, we're also not expanding the footprint of the pavement, like, we're keeping it exactly the same. So if it's impervious now, it's impervious after.
And just kind of as a joke, did you designate these storage spots after the storm or before the storm? Because you're definitely gonna need them.
It was before the storm. But I mean, even if you look too, this site has plenty of space, especially on this southern side where this guide rail is, because where all these parking spaces are, we're eliminating them. So we really have kind of this whole area, plus there's that shed in the back, in front of that loading space, where all of that area is just kind of unused right now. So we do have plenty of space on site, not to mention anything to the north as well. There is actually quite ample snow storage areas that won't impact traffic or site flow.
And that shed's existing and you're gonna utilize it? You're gonna be utilizing it?
Yeah, I mean, just for storage and basic stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I also had the question about that one way. What's gonna keep people from going the other direction, and really it's, not going to, right?
You know, the real honest answer is it's going to be very hard to police and prevent, you know, we can't really do any treatments like trying to put a radius on the curbs or anything like that to prevent people. Even if I put a stop bar at the end, people are still just going to drive over, you know what I mean? In either way, it's just meant, the main intention is just to give the vehicles a place to go and exit. So,
Yeah, and I see you have your stop bar basically back at the right-of-way, and then they have to negotiate that right turn
yeah,
onto Cromwell Avenue.
yeah, either the right
would be a
turn or the
hard one
left,
to turn
or-
into.
or the left turn.
Again, it seems like a tight site, and the comment about, you know, you utilize a sedan and a F-350, and today's vehicles are much larger, wider. Again, it's concerning about the site. It seems very tight. I go down to the Exxon down the road on the corner of Elm and Cromwell. That's very tight also. I've had to negotiate a trailer through there, and my car sticks out, and people are beeping and honking at me until I get filled up and
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot
so-
of times when you have trailers, you end up in any designated driveway path anyway, because, you know, even if you have a parallel spaces, if there's a vehicle in the first bay, you can't pull all the way up anyway, and now the trailer's sticking out, blocking, you know, potentially blocking the other ones. It's really tough. Like, I don't think that there's very many perfect situations when it comes to gas stations.
Yeah, and then worst case, you'll have 6 vehicles there at once.
Correct.
Maybe some waiting, and then you'll have some in the parking spaces utilizing the convenience store part of it.
Yep.
Sorry, I had to take notes. I took notes on the old plan, and then I think the new plan you submitted answered some of my questions I already had, so that's great.
I'll take that.
Okay. You had
I
another
just have one
question?
more question. EV charging, do you have any on site?
We don't currently have any being proposed.
Okay.
Any other questions? So at this point, that was the
We would
public
have.
hearing, we would close that?
If you feel you're ready to close the public hearing, there,
Make sure that they have nothing else to say.
yeah, I don't know if it's,
Yeah, I mean, the only real comment or question and concern that I've heard from the commission that we have absolutely no problem adding as a condition of approval is the air pump on the northern corner, because that's where it's essentially going to go. But aside from that, that's pretty much it.
Motion to close public hearing.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So with that, I need to call to order the regular meeting as we consider this. So I will call to order the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning. Again, I don't need a motion for that, right?
No, you just, if there's anybody from the public who'd like to speak on something beside what's on the agenda.
So that brings us to public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak on any comments other than what's on the agenda? None seen. Move on to consent agenda.
Point of order that none of us were here, so.
I will be, yeah, that's correct. Because we don't have a quorum of the previous commission and no one was here, I will be recording draft minutes on the record. I'll be signing something and put some verbiage on them, as well as the actions. So no action to be taken.
So there's nothing to do for that. Number 5 is agenda items. First item is special permit application. Should he read that too?
Yeah, yep.
So Tony, would you like to read
Certainly.
5A?
Agenda items, paragraph A, special permit application. Nadeem Khalid, proposing to reconfigure site from a former auto repair gas station to a gas station convenience store for property located at 940 Cromwell Avenue in a C Commercial Zoning District, ID 16-264.
Call for a motion.
Is there a motion?
That a motion would be to approve the permit?
One can approve with conditions, one can deny without prejudice, which would give them
Right.
they can come back. One can also table the item, but you would have to discuss as to why you would tabling it.
Yes.
Because keep in mind, your public hearing is closed, so there's no longer communication with the applicant.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the special permit application.
I second.
We have a second.
Now we ask
Any
for
discussion?
yeah.
Yep.
So now all of us can speak except for Bill because he's not sitting. So all of us can talk about it.
I like the idea, and I like the way the parking is in front of the building now, because if you go there currently, the way the parking is sideways, well, they're not open now, but when they used to be open, you'd have to cross over, like it was very awkward. So I think the way the plan is now makes sense. My only concern,
You could speak
honestly-
into the mic because we're recording, just make sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
So I like it. My only concern really is even coming out into that one way. It seems like it's very narrow. But, you know, you work with what you can, I guess, with what's there. That's my 2 cents.
I would, to the motion and to the seconder, the applicant stated a condition that they would like, I'm sorry, not the way like, that they would adhere to a condition of an air station. So I'm going to throw a condition on this that they would add an air station to the plan.
Okay.
So now you have to,
Revise your motion?
no, my condition is just a condition, and it just has to be approved by the motioner and the seconder.
Oh, I approve.
I approve too.
So now that your approval is with a condition.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
I too have a problem with what's going on up front, but I think the DOT will handle that island, which will,
Yeah, I think we
Well,
will have that concern.
yeah, the DOT is going to handle what's going on up front there. So other than I throw out to this commission, do we care about EV chargers on this site, and do we want one, and do we want that as a condition on it?
I don't think it's a purpose of this business for EV charging. We have sites around town for that, and this is more of a stop, pick up some snacks, fill up, and go.
I agree.
Tony, you have anything, discussion
Nothing further.
on the motion? Dan?
No, I'm good.
Move to vote.
Do I get to say anything?
No, well, you can make all the comments you want. You run the show.
I also agree with the approval for the application. It is concerning about the tight site, but that's something you'll have to deal with. And Victor said about DOT. Even that island with the DOT trucks, especially like this storm, that's gonna be piling up there, so that's something you'll have to probably address down the road, but other than that, I have nothing else.
Question for staff. Is it assumed that we don't have to say in all staff comments as part of our motion?
I would get the commission used to saying that.
Okay. So then I also offer another condition that we make sure that we have all staff comments as part of the condition.
Explain, but,
We usually make sure that we cover ourselves in a motion to make sure that the staff has the ability to have any comments that they missed, like fire, police,
okay.
all that kind
So
of stuff.
if I missed some of those action items that I was
Correct.
going through.
All those reports that
Staff
came
has the-
in
has the-
with
They're the
notes
professionals,
on
we
it.
give them the,
Yes,
so we, as part of our motions, we always say in all staff comments.
that's good to know.
So approval is contingent upon all staff comments being addressed.
Yeah,
as
so I revised my motion
No,
to,
I asked for a condition.
right,
So it's, now that you just have to accept my condition.
oh, okay, I accept that condition.
And then Dan has to accept my
I
condition.
accept your conditions.
So it's
Okay.
air pump on north side and all staff comments. And I will note the concern on the one-way.
Okay. And now we can take a vote.
Move to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstains?
Do you want to hit the gavel?
Do I get to?
Go for it.
There you go. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Item 5B, pre-application, Rocky Hill Gateway LLC. Tony, you want to read that as well?
Certainly. Proposing modifications to the uses in Building 9 and 11 Kelson Row, specifically changing approximately 5,500 square foot of retail space to office space in Building 9, and adding 1,000 square feet of retail space in Building 11, while eliminating 12 residential apartment units for property located at 2418 Main Street, 1 Dividend Road, in a TC Town Center zoning district, ID 10-184.
Before our possible applicant begins, for the record, I just want to state, this is not an application. This is considered a pre-application. By state law, possible applicants have the right to come before planning and zoning commissions and present an idea, a concept, to the commission. What they present is non-binding on them as possible future applicants. It's also non-binding on the commission. We would ask the commission not to state on the record, yes, I love this idea, I would approve this idea. They can't, tip their hands saying that, we're going to deny this, we're going to approve it. You can ask questions, there could be a dialogue about what it is they're possibly proposing. But it is a pre-application. You may see this again in the future, you may not. Based upon your questions, you may not see it, or you may see it in a different version. I state that on the record, so you will be aware to not, say you're in favor or against, but ask leading questions. If you have concerns, make sure, you ask a question about it. If you like something, make sure you ask questions about it. Dislike something, ask questions about it, be curious. They will do a presentation, and
Question to staff, just because this is a pre-application, and that means we're all engaged
yes,
with it, right? Not just seeing.
everybody at the table can participate, and they should. I believe Michael Belfanti is present, as are others. We do have some materials that were handed out. So
I'm just waiting here for the PowerPoint to be fixed,
Okay.
which I think it is. Congratulations to you all. Welcome, welcome aboard. We've been in front of this commission probably for about 5 years ongoing. Let me just see how this goes here. Not yet. Okay. And Happy New Year to everybody. So we're here before you today to talk about a pre-app on Kelson Row, which I think everybody knows what Kelson Row is now. We're 213 units in the downtown of Rocky Hill. We're tried to create a village scheme, which we involve the commission and staff at the town of Rocky Hill, and did a bunch of charrettes and iterations, and finally came up with this project. I'll remind you that this was what it was, the old Ames Plaza on 12 acres plus of land that was sitting fallow for over 20 years. We came in and basically, here's another picture here. I think you could all remember what it looked like if you drove by it probably every day. And this is where we're at today. Again, 213 units and about 10,000 feet of retail. And we have one last building to build, which is 6,000 feet, which we want to move to 7,000 feet. And we want to reduce it from 12 units on top floors, the second and third floor, to actually just a single-story building. We'll show you how this works here. Again, has anyone been there, or have you been by there? Have you been in the property at all? So you're all welcome to go. We'll be happy to make an appointment or anything like that if you haven't been in the clubhouse, and if you haven't had a tour, we could certainly arrange that. So 213 units, like I said. We're 95% leased at this point, which is fantastic. Our pace is ahead of almost any other project in the state. You know, we have a great location. I think that's what really did it. We do have a great leasing staff, but I think it's the location, and I think it's the product that we built that has made it so desirable. We do have an affordable component, which I think everybody knows, a workforce housing component, which I think has also been very helpful with the lease-up. We also worked with Jaffa on the affordability component. So Women's Health approached us looking to lease space in Building 9. They're looking for 5,500 feet. And as you all know, Women's Health is not considered a retail tenant. It's considered a commercial tenant. So when we were before P&Z the last time, that's why we were denied. We got a vote of 5 no's out of the 5 members because nobody wanted, supposedly, that they didn't want any more commercial space. We feel it's an asset to have Women's Health here. They're already in the community, as you know, and they would bring in almost 100 people a day, including staff, as well as the people that, you know, the patients. So we think it's a terrific boon for the project. This is the building. This is Building 9 here. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is Building 9. And we're looking to change the use of Building 9, again, half of it, from retail to medical. And that's why we're before you today. Also, in the same request, we're also looking to build Building 11 with 1 story. So let me just see how this looks. This is, by the way, the floor. This mouse is moving very fast. This is where the medical space would be, which would be closest to the clubhouse. That's where Women's Health would like to go. And then the remainder of the building, about 4,500 feet, would still maintain its retail use. So we're looking for a change of use in Building 11. This is the second building, which we have not built yet. We want to remove the 12 apartments on the second and third floor, creating a better parking ratio. We want to increase the first floor retail from 6,000 feet to 7,000 feet, so we're adding retail, and the building would become one-story retail. And we have some renderings here. So this is what it would look like. And we think it's a much softer segue from Building 9 to Building 11. We also want to create a walkable space between the new Dividend Road Park and this last retail building. I think you know that the town of Rocky Hill has received a grant from the state of Connecticut to redo the park, and that's one of the things we think we could help with. And we've been talking to Ray Carpentino, and we've been talking, well, when Lisa was there, now I'm talking to Alan Smith about helping with extra parking and maybe some, again, a different streetscape to get us to the park, since you don't have a downtown center, and that's what we tried to create. Here's another rendering of what the building would look like.
Can you show where Building 11 is?
Sorry?
Can you show where Building 11 is?
Sure. I'll go back here. Okay, right here.
I know, but there's,
Up. It's going too far. Building 11 is the one that's all the way to the right.
to the right of 9. Okay.
And that's not built yet.
Gotcha.
And we have 2 years more to build that. If we could get if we could get women's health in there, we would be able to start on Building 11 sooner and finish the project, which is what we'd like to do. But it's hard to build Building 11 if you don't have anything leased in Building 9, and we've been trying to lease Building 9 for 3 years. So that's kind of, I'll open it up to questions.
Does anybody have questions?
I do. So in previous presentations, those on the retail side, I think some of it was specific to anticipate a restaurant in that part of the project.
That's correct. We have a pub restaurant that we believe we could get to go there, but the precondition would be women's health, because they need to concentrate on lunch, not only dinner. And they feel that the 100 people a day coming through women's health would help them basically make their business.
The restaurant you're talking about, so that's for Building 11?
No, that's for Building 9.
Oh, the other half of Building 9?
That's the other half. That's
Okay.
why if our team can lease Building 9, then we could go forward and build Building 11.
Just so I understand the restaurant concept, because I know that was, prominent in previous discussions about what the retail component would likely be. That was talking about a restaurant. So Building 9, if I understand it, the one that you're looking for permission to change part of the use, that you now see as roughly half to be occupied by women's health, and the other half of that same building for a restaurant establishment.
That's correct. But I want to just be totally transparent. It's not guaranteed yet.
Understood.
Okay.
This is all conceptual.
Okay.
Okay. And then
Well,
Building.
women's health is not conceptual. They definitely want to go there.
Right.
The restaurant, on the fence.
Okay.
But I do have other candidates for the restaurant.
Okay. Now for Building 11, do you anticipate that as a restaurant as well?
No,
'Cause-
I don't think so. That's going to be just retail use. I don't know if you know this, Anna, I think it's Anna's Kitchen. She's on, I think, the Shunpike. It's like a prepared food kind of place. I don't know if anyone's ever been in it. They sell pastas and whatnot. She's interested in going there. I see 4 small retail tenants there. That's what I see. Retail, not restaurants. I don't think we have honestly, the parking capacity to do 2 restaurants there. That's another reason why having the 12 less units is a real big thing, because we won't have a parking problem now, but if you have a real popular restaurant, there could be a crunch on the parking. So we don't want to, I guess, is where I'm going with it.
And the restaurant that I understand is conceptual for Building 9, is that only a lunch spot, or is
No,
that?
lunch and dinner
Lunch.
and breakfast, too.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
I don't have any questions. Pretty good.
Okay. Well,
The details.
a lot of my questions Steve posed. So you're taking a 3-story building, you're making it 1 story for Building 11.
Yeah, I should give you a little history. We came before the P&Z before, okay, to actually add the 12 units to the retail below. Originally, the plan was 6,000 feet of retail and 6,000 feet of office above. But there were absolutely no bites on second floor office. It was worse than the retail. So I came back to the commission and I said, maybe what we could do is add 12 units, because we know we could lease those, just like we lease 95%, right, of the apartments, and put retail below. That was approved. So now I'm saying it's probably better if we go 1-story retail, less density, so the project is less dense and intense, less parking requirements, and we could build Building 11 faster and finish the project faster. So that's the reason, yes. But we were before, we changed already once, and I think they got a little, PNC got a little angry with us because of that. Yeah,
I think, just to put, this is Mark Forlenza, I'm with Bofanti Company. Just to put it all in a little context, these changes are in our concept is to try to make the retail on this site just more desirable for many different uses. Removing the 2nd and 3rd story off that retail building makes it easier for retail tenants to locate in that building. So when we first came before, your predecessors, and we wanted to split the building in half, some of the feedback we got was, yes, we would like to do that, but maybe not. So this time back with you was try to address some of those concerns by taking the floor off, increasing that retail building, and then making that retail building, Building 11 I'm talking about, just more desirable for potential retail tenants. And then some of the other things like less parking demand, all that kind of fell from it. But that's really our desire, is to get retail tenants in those 2 buildings.
Yep.
And that's what we're presenting to you tonight. And again, that was a culmination of some of the discussions we had with, your predecessors and some of the comments that we took. And then this is like the culmination of that discussion.
I appreciate that, thank you. So it sounds like the parking situation gets better by removing those 2 floors of apartments.
Yes, it does.
You're not infringing on the parking that was planned at all, are you?
No, not at all. In fact, the parking that has been approved is to code. But it makes it even better.
The ratios.
The ratios are better.
Ratio is better. Is this an all or nothing? And what I mean by that is, are you looking for both Building 9 and 11 work? If 9 is not approved and 11 is that still a go? Or if 11 is approved and 9 isn't, is that a go?
We're mandated to build Building 11, regardless. But we have 2 years to build it. So if you say no, we've already have Building 11 approved with 12 apartments up top and 6,000 feet of retail. So we're saying we're going to scrap the 12 and add another 1,000 square feet of retail on the first floor. So you're actually adding to the retail in Building 11. We're making the building a little bigger.
Yeah, but I think, let me just answer directly. Yes, it's an all or nothing thing.
That's
Like,
what
we've
I was looking
increased
for.
the size, we've eliminated apartments, but which we know we can lease. We increased the retail for basically for you guys, and we can't have you say do Building 9 and not
Right. It's a
Building
package.
11 and
You're
not
looking
9.
for a
That would
package
defeat the
deal
whole
here, right.
purpose of us trying to do Building 11 for you. So,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
He's smarter than me.
I'm talking, I'm just listening.
Thank you both. I'm good.
A couple things that I would be looking for, since this is pre-app. The first is to make sure that the affordable housing number does not go down, because we're losing units.
That is correct.
Just, without, you know, what I mean, you'll verify
No,
that in the
yes, we would
application, but that's-
verify
that's
that.
one of the
We
things
are
that
not
we'd be looking
looking
for,
to, we're not
is We don't
looking,
want to change that affordable number.
we don't either.
Just to add again, the affordable apartment's already built. And not only did we build the 10%, we actually built another 10% at 80% again. So there's actually over 20% of the apartments are workforce housing on there. And then when we eliminate the 12 units, you know, that 20% goes up to 22%. So there's quite a sufficient amount of workforce housing on that site.
Because you're doing retail in that building now, we would like to make sure that the signage and lighting and everything else adheres to what we want to do in the town center. I'm assuming there'll be signs for retail, and so we'll be looking, I would be looking at that.
We actually have a separate name for the retail. It's the Shops at Kelson Row.
Okay.
And we have already signs designed for that. And this new building, 11, really increases and improves the walkability because there's a big patio between the two buildings with a fire pit. And, I mean, it's really nice. And people are, I think, certainly retail tenants are more attracted to buildings that have one story as opposed to apartments above it. So we think it makes the retail more marketable.
The one last thing that I'll throw out is I would look for an update on those air conditioning units on the Main Street and where we are with those and if they're gone and what the plan is. And
Yeah,
I'd be
and
looking for
I just
that.
want to address that for 1 second. Where the air conditioning units are located were exactly what was on the plan that was approved.
Well,
I know. I know.
We need to go backwards on that.
No, I'm
because
okay with that.
you're-
We've been.
I don't want to
yeah.
argue about it.
No,
It's
I'm
not
not.
part of this.
I'm
not
not
part of
arguing at
this.
all. I'm just saying, but that's the plan that was approved, and I'll let Harrison. I don't know
Well,
that much.
we're
about
We
it.
don't have
not-
to talk
we're
about
not
it.
even
We'll
gonna
be
go
looking
there.
for- We'll be looking for it
We're not gonna
in an
go there.
application.
We're not gonna go
This is
there.
a pre-app. We don't even need to worry about it right now.
Okay, all right.
In an application, we'd be looking for a status update on those air units. We can discuss it then.
And we want to accommodate you.
I have nothing further. No.
No, I just, I understand the idea of putting women's health in. I just think for me, it's just, that doesn't add the, I don't know, the community feel to the place. If that's the right term. I'm trying to think of, I had envisioned Kelson Row as coming in with some retail, even small. I noticed you mentioned like mom and pop shop inquiries in here. But that was kind of how I had envisioned it, was something like that. And is that kind of out?
No, I think we will, I think that you will be able to attract mom and pop tenants to Building 11, and I think it'll be easier to get them there. And, if we're not building, the units up above, we have some more resources to help those mom and pops get into the building, honestly.
So right now, has it been advertised as the Shops at Kelson Row with what you currently
Yes,
have?
yes, it has.
It has been, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
sure. Do you want to, don't talk about, no, we're not going to talk about.
So on those same lines, my question has to do with not having been on the past commission but kind of following what's going on out there. What was your due diligence? What type of marketing, what type of incentives have you offered? What have you done to try to attract retail to that area?
Well, we originally had New England Real Estate, New England Leasing, Matt Halpern. He was the broker. We put up our own signs as well. We have a gentleman that works for us named Joe Fizikis, and he was marketing it independently, but we were going to pay the commissions anyway. So we have been marketing this property for over 3 years. And
In what ways, though? You put up a sign?
no,
you
we put up
advertise?
signs. We're
Is
on
there anything
MLS.
that's
We're
gone
on
above and
LoopNet.
beyond? Have
all,
you
all the
offered any incentives to any tenants?
Well,
you know,
nobody-
free
no-
6 months rent, those types of things.
Nobody came to the door. I mean, that was the problem. We just didn't have anybody. We have not had anybody except really for, Annie's Table, who honestly has, well, it doesn't matter, but she wants to go to Building 11 if we could do that. She could not take the space in Building 9 because it's 5,000 feet, and that wouldn't be good for her. She wants something much smaller, like 1,500 or 2,000, and we couldn't break up the building like that. So we tried very hard. We've been trying very hard to lease it. It only helps us if we could lease it. The other
The
problem is,
remaining 50, 40, what is it? The 4,500, that can be broken up also, you said? into at least two.
it could be, if you had two tenants, yeah. We're able to do that.
Okay.
Another question. So the 10,000 square feet, how come in the last 3 years you didn't break that up in smaller sections?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The 10,000 square feet of Building 9, how come you guys didn't break that up maybe into smaller sections to try to lease it out?
Well, because what if someone then came in and said, we want the whole thing?
But that's a what if 3 years
Well,
later.
I know.
You're a what if.
My name's Harrison with Belfonte. So if you look at the drawing here,
Yeah.
this was marketed that you could split it up into 4 quadrants. So to answer your question, we had different renderings, so we hired a third party, and we had separate drawings that said if you wanted to split it up, here's my mouse, you could split it up with a line right here.
Okay.
So you could split it up 4 ways, we split it 5 ways, we could actually do a front, we could do a front little spot here. So it was marketed that way, and I'm the director of construction, so I was the one doing plans. So we've spoken to other people, we just haven't gotten to the point where it made sense. The building's big, so
Right.
it's suitable for only certain clientele. So we worked with Women's Health to find out the certain size square footage they would need, but also leave us a good size space that it would be desirable for retailers, so they would utilize the patio.
I have an additional question. The proposed medical office, and let's say a restaurant did come into the retail area, is there adequate infrastructure, power, water, sewer, whatever's needed to accommodate these areas without having to do a major change?
That's correct. So it was designed, we had to over-design it because we didn't know how many tenants were going to get there. So there's no issues with power requirements. We have natural gas there for heating or cooking. There is if you look right here, the other reason nobody asked us, but having a kitchen, this is a HVAC shaft. So it's built for a kitchen or some sort to be on the
So
right-hand
we
side.
won't get
So
in the
it's been a-
condition like Sally's Pizza where.
Yeah, and it was, to be honest, some of it was, we're guessing, right? You're trying to guess.
Sure.
So also, we spent additional monies during construction to put a sanitary line in the floor. So we did like a kind of a branch to try to accommodate where we think bathrooms are gonna go, so it makes easier for tenant fit out. So we do have branch lines and accommodated for those items. So there isn't any issues regarding that. And if approved, we'd get approved, we'd have to do a separate building permit for those. So
Sure.
full construction drawings would be provided, showing everything. So right now, the building's a shell space. So we have sprinkler, and we have a separate owner's meter for electricity. But the meters, rack for gas and everything's already set up for sub-metering.
Good forethought.
Yeah.
One more question, as far as, just looking at your rendering, what was your intention as far as signage and advertisement for the retail spaces? Would they have signs right outside their spaces? Would there be a sign like at the corner of Kelson Row and Silas
In the empty space, you're saying?
for the empty spaces, yeah?
Yeah, we would definitely put signage in the windows, yes.
So they would be in the windows.
Yep.
Is there a standard that you would follow? Like, would you want to keep them all the same? Would you just let them put whatever?
So if I,
I'm sorry.
You know what I mean?
You're saying once the tenants move in?
Right. Once you
Yes,
get a
there
tenant-
would be a uniform signage.
How do you draw people, yeah, so would something go above the awning, would
Yeah,
something
above
go
Yeah.
on the
this
corner
view.
of the?
Exactly, and it
direct
would be
use, the
very,
proper-
very tasteful and very uniform. We try to, this is a best-in-class building. It's one of the nicest buildings around, and we would continue that same quality into the retail.
Was something proposed for Building 9 for displaying the tenant, retail tenants' business?
Separate permit would be applied for the signage, but if I can't address your general question, if you haven't been to the site, you pull in and there's a sign that directs you all the direction to all the buildings that we worked with both fire and with Kim and Ben regarding that. So when you come on the site, you can either go straight, right, or left. So it tells you go left to building 1. Right now it tells you go right to building 9, and then it also tells you building 11's to the left. So once we get a tenant under there, we would put a little sign, so direction signs. And also every building has a sign up high so fire and safety can see it. And also in front of every building, there's just a general sign showing people where those buildings are. So we have enough signage right now, but the additional signage would be provided with zoning, so.
Right,
a
but
separate
you would have to
applicant-
get people into the complex to get them to, because Dividend Road is kind of an offshoot there. You're not gonna get heavy traffic to see building 11 and what's there. You kinda have to advertise it ahead of time type thing,
Yeah, like,
or display.
again, this is a pre-app. A lot of these, again, we're really just trying to get your general input on the concept. Because if we don't get a good feel for this, we'll just not do it. We won't come back. So so a lot of those details, yes, we have to think through. But I think it's important to just get some feedback. Is this something that you guys want to see happen here, or?
We can't say
Can't
that.
really.
I'm pushing you a little.
Yeah.
Pushing you a little, so we don't waste everyone's time in the next month, that's all.
Question to staff about all this.
What do you say? Call me.
This, if the tenant comes, or when the tenant comes, when the applicant comes, is it a site plan modification, or is it a zone change because they're asking for medical in the town center zone?
No, this would be basically a use modification.
So it's a use modification?
Correct.
It's not a zone change?
No.
Okay. To staff for advice, should we ask for a modification of their traffic study because now they're adding 2 more intense things than retail? They're adding more retail and they're adding medical. Do we need to
No.
change our traffic
The
study?
retail was already planned.
No, this is intensifying the retail. That's why I'm asking staff for,
Well, the retail, 1,000 square feet. They're asking to increase
And
1,000
medical.
square feet.
Honestly, we'd be happy to submit
I'm just asking as
We'd be
part
happy
of
to
it,
do it.
just to suffice to basically say, this is not going to affect anything or
We'd
whatever.
be happy to
A
submit a letter
traffic
from traffic
statement.
manager, happy to do it, regardless if you need
that's-
it or not, we'd happy to do it.
One of the things that we should look at is traffic, because it was scrutinized when you guys first came, and I figured we should have it looked at.
Sure.
I don't see it changing anything, but we should.
That's a good idea. I'd like to just mention another thing. We are developers and owners. We're not merchant builders. So, we built this building to last. We plan on holding it, indefinitely. We're not looking to, it's not on the market. I mean, that's not what we do. We built another building, in Rocky Hill called the Landon, which you might know about. It's 160 units. We've owned that now for 7 years. Not on the market. It's in our portfolio. We just finished a project up in Boston with Heinz called the Rivio. It's actually on Revere Beach. It's a minimum of a 10-year hold. So, when you talk about signage and, lighting and all that stuff, I mean, we're here to stay, and, we want the project to be really, we're proud of it. And we want other people to be proud of it too. And it's a great show place for us. I mean, when we bring banks, new banks that we haven't done business with, up to Kelson Row, I mean, they want to do business with us after they see it. So that's a real good thing for us. So again, we're here to help you, and we've been very accommodating, and we want to continue to be. So that's kind of it.
Kim, can I just ask a question? Like Mark said, we're looking for feedback. So we went through our architect and interior designers to come up with what we thought would be best for the site. So this is the elevation. So we're looking for feedback if there's anything that's be different. Now, we can only make the building so big. Or somebody's like, can you put a 12,000 square foot building? We can't do some of those things, but we'd like any and all feedback so we can make adjustments and hopefully come back.
The only feedback I would give is to make sure that any retail space has the ability for walkability along to engage with that park that you have in between the Building 9 and Building 11, and to get into our sidewalk system. So any way you can show the connection to the community for these three buildings, as from parking to just show people movement, or show how you would be able to, why this building will enhance the walkability and the movability in that project.
We'll definitely do that. And also what Michael mentioned is the proposed park on the other side of Dividend Road. That is part of the reason why we do want to lower the grade of this building, to try to get some connection from Building 11 into that proposed park. And we think that a plan like this does a better job incorporating in with the overall design for that area. So yes, then I wish we knew exactly what was going there, but we probably would imagine we're going to be back for another modification once we know exactly what's going there so I agree.
Everyone, last question is good? Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Ladies.
Thank you all.
We have nothing to do with that. That's
Yeah.
presentation.
No action on that.
You go
No
right to
action.
Go right to
16.
6, any other business? We already did 6A. 6B, review and possible adoption of bylaws.
The bylaws were in your packet. I don't know if you had a chance to review them. They're basically your procedures and how you are to act with respect to using alternates during meetings, elections of officers, agendas, that type of thing. So, if you want to review them and wait till next month, that certainly is something you can do.
I looked at them, and aren't they already adopted, approved? And we just kind of go with it?
Well, every time there's a change,
Okay.
every 2 years, we go through this with officers and bylaw review, and that's up to the commission.
Yeah, I took
Any
it as,
comments?
these are the bylaws and the procedures.
But you're saying we can make changes if we feel there needs to be change or whatever?
The last time we did a bylaw change, it engaged more with alternates. Alternates were part of the meetings as much as they are now. So that's one of the things that we changed in these bylaws, is that alternates can be part of the meeting more because they are a part of the commission. Before, they were more silent and they couldn't engage in the meeting. That was like an example of what we changed last time. I don't want to do it again because it take a very long time, but.
And the current bylaws that you distributed, the alternates
they're-
are active at the meetings with the exception of voting.
So an alternate can engage in a public meeting.
Yes.
They can engage in a pre-application. An alternate cannot engage once a motion is made.
Yep.
If they're sitting as an alternate.
Yeah,
If they're
understood
sitting
that.
as a seated member, then they can engage.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I think maybe the point is, if we wanted to make changes to the bylaws, procedure is, I think it's in the bylaws, right?
Yeah, that we can,
Just follow that and,
if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, or we can take it up at next meeting. If
okay. Does anybody have any comments or questions about the bylaws?
I say we keep it on any other business next time, and then if we need to address it, we address it. If we don't, we put it to bed.
That's a good choice, yes.
That sounds good. We don't need a motion for that, right?
No.
It's just comment?
I would have a motion to table.
Motion to
Get
table.
used to motions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. So moved. 6C, Regional Planning Commission appointments,
Okay.
regular
The-
members and alternates.
The Capital Region Council of Governments is the Regional Planning Agency in the Greater Hartford area. They have what's called a Regional Planning Commission that reviews referrals from various communities within the capital region. They also further the Regional Plan of Conservation and Development. They meet, I believe it's every other month or quarterly. And we are seeking a representative and an alternate. We do have some time, because their first meeting will be the first Thursday in March, March 5th. I do believe their meetings are in person in Hartford. In the past, they were Zoom meetings. You may be able to enter the meeting via Zoom. I can verify that for you. If you wish to table this, I can get you more information. I do have some information here. And if you go to the CROG website, you can get some information on the Regional Planning Commission, but we do need a member and an alternate member. You'll be sitting with other people on planning and zoning commissions throughout the capital region. And as I said, reviewing regional referrals.
What's the mission of this commission?
It's a regional entity such as yourself, but on a regional level, basically. So you're looking at the capital region as a whole. We as municipalities have to refer items to the CROG Regional Planning Commission. For example, zone changes that affect property within 500 feet of a town line, any site plan special permit applications where traffic impacts an abutting community if you're close to a town line. Our plan of conservation and development goes to them for comment. Zoning regulation changes go to them for comment. They have a regional plan of conservation and development as well. They're also working on a regional affordable housing plan, which you may be involved with also. So you do this work, but at a regional level, and it is volunteer.
So we need to appoint someone and an alternate at this time?
You can do that now, or you can do that at your next meeting. You have until the first Thursday in March, so you can, if you want to think about this, you can table this till next month.
No, yeah, motion, put it on the next meeting.
I would agree with that.
Motion to table until next meeting.
Second.
All in discussion, anything? All in favor? Aye. Did you get that, Kim?
I did.
We tabled it. Next is zoning enforcement, 6D.
We have a spreadsheet with an extremely small font.
Yep.
I keep
Oh, I saw
commenting
that
on
one, yes.
that every time. Our zoning enforcement staff, our department enforces zoning regulations. We enforce the blight ordinance. We enforce, there's a regulation or an ordinance about unregistered vehicles on property. There's a housing code standard. We enforce that. So there's a lot of other things we do besides zoning enforcement. And I think oftentimes things appear on this list that are not only zoning matters, but that said, as you go throughout the town, if you see something that you feel may be a zoning issue, please reach out to either myself or Ben Winter. I believe I gave everybody our business cards, and if you don't have them, I have plenty here. But typically, signs are a big deal. We have signs on utility poles, commercial vehicles in residential neighborhoods.
What's a feather sign?
You
That's a
see,
banana?
they
They
look
call it a
like,
banana?
yeah, they're made of canvas or like
Looks
a
like a big banana.
polyester
Open,
vehicle.
grand
Illinois?
opening, those
Yeah.
big, those big,
Not the air ones. but
Yeah.
the big,
No.
They look like
Banners
giant
on a
teardrops
stick thing?
and they have like,
flapping
they're
in the
like
breeze.
fabric.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So typically signs are our, we get, most of our complaints are about signs. We've had, we've had some odd complaints in the past. I received a call from someone who thought an RV was too big for the driveway. We don't regulate the size of RVs, just that obviously they had a bigger RV than somebody else. And they were, I don't know if they were jealous or what, I don't know. We've had complaints that are oftentimes we get complaints on what are civil matters. It's truly an issue between two property owners, and it's not a zoning matter. So we have to explain to people that this is not a zoning issue, this is truly a civil matter. The blight ordinance, while it's not a zoning matter, we get blight complaints usually daily. And the blight ordinance is rather subjective, and it's truly up to us as staff to determine, is it blighted or not? Can you move something out of the way or put it in a pile, and it makes it neat now. But if you see something, say something, let us know, and we will determine whether or not it is a violation. So it's the zoning enforcement staff that's in charge of determining whether or not it is. So let us know.
There's no action on these, it's more information.
No, this is, yeah, a lot of these items are, and you're going to see them on the agenda every month.
Okay.
If there's a hot topic, there's more discussion, so.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions on the zoning enforcement?
I'll ask that the font be bigger, too.
Do we need a motion for that? No. 6E is minor modifications.
Per regulation, the town planner or designee can approve what's called a minor modification, and those regulations have been revised multiple times based upon actions that were not to the liking of the commission. I've approved things in the past where people haven't liked what I've done, so those regulations have been modified. We have a property at 1783 Celestine Highway that was Rita's Ice. It was a takeout, like ice cream, Italian ice place, no seating, minimal parking. So it was classified as a food use. And we had a request from a food use to go into that property. It was a Mexican takeout place. We approved that as a minor change. Health District was involved also with that. So no seating. They would have to upgrade the kitchen, which they've already brought in plans to the Health District for review. So we have approved that as a minor change. This is more information, just so you know. That was it?
That's it for minor approval?
Yep.
6F is Plan Implementation Committee.
Okay. The commission did receive, and it's my understanding there's some pages missing in some of the documents, and I apologize for that. The Plan of Conservation and Development is a document that this commission is in charge of implementing, and obviously a lot of the items in that document are not under your jurisdiction, but under other boards and commissions. The Plan Implementation Committee is a group of people made up of different boards and commission members that come from Wetlands Commission, Planning and Zoning Commission, maybe Economic Development Commission, different staff members as well. And they're in charge of kind of overseeing the implementation of the Plan of Conservation and Development. I know Victor has served on it in the past. Victor Zirilli and Dimple Desai were members. We typically have 2 members from the Planning and Zoning kind of oversee that committee, along with myself and Steve Soplak, our Community Development Department head. And we are seeking two people from this commission to serve on that committee. And we have decided at our last meeting that we were going to be meeting quarterly, I believe. So we do need 2 members to step up and serve on that committee.
Do they volunteer? Do we nominate them? Do we
Well, I don't know if anybody's interested in serving.
interested in the?
I volunteer to stay on it, so, but that's,
Anybody else want to be on it?
I wouldn't mind being on that.
So there's your 2, Victor and Tony.
Does anybody have any objection?
No?
Could we have a motion to that effect?
I can't make a motion. It's not.
So you want a motion to have them appointed to the pick?
Mhm.
So anybody want to make a motion?
I can't.
Dan or Don?
So moved. I move.
There you go, she just did it. So
Yeah,
moved.
so moved.
Need a second now.
Aye, second aye.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So when we come to this agenda item next time, is it basically that they report to us with what their committee has done? Okay.
Yeah.
She usually gives the report.
Okay.
Because she chairs she's like the chair of she runs it. And we only can have 2 members because a third member's a quorum, and we
Yep.
can't have 3 members. So that's why it's 2 from our commission.
But are there other people from?
Yeah.
There'll be other people.
Wetlands,
Okay.
We have a member from Wetlands Commission, and we're going to have our business and economic development manager, a staff. Our town manager is like ex officio. If we have, if we're discussing housing at that time, we may have the Rocky Hill Housing Authority come and join us. I go out to other commissions to kind of spread the word of the Plan of Conservation and Development, and I will be doing that again.
Do we have any actions at this point, or you're going to feed us information?
Oh, I feed you lots of things, yes. I feed you lots of information,
love the
yes.
pick. You'll love the pick.
So,
It's
thank
a
you,
low-key meeting.
thank you.
Okay. And you have nothing to report this time, right? You still gotta?
No.
Okay.
No, because we had the change, the commission change, so. no.
Okay. 6G is Affordable Housing Committee.
There are no appointments from this group. We do have a town ordinance that created an affordable housing committee. We do have an affordable housing plan that was enacted by Planning and Zoning Commission in 2022. It expires in 2027. And based upon that plan, a ordinance was created, a committee was created. I'm kind of going into the legislation, the next item as well, but the new housing legislation that the state has recently enacted has a component where there will be a opportunity for municipalities to partake in the regional housing plan, affordable housing plan, that the Capital Region Council of Governments will be undertaking, and they're actually going through the data collection right now. And we've attended some seminars based upon that. So the town would have to weigh in on that, but the Affordable Housing Committee is looking at that. The latest thing that committee wants to do is actually meet with developers that have built affordable housing units, because they see it from the need from the municipality, but they want to know what the developers need to make it work. Because obviously, they have to have some profit as well. So they want to meet with some developers that have done affordable housing projects and see what makes it work for them. They also want to meet with people that develop what's called tiny homes. You may be aware of tiny homes. There's some regulations and building codes on tiny homes in one of the appendix of the building code. And so they're interested in learning more about that. So I'm putting together a meeting for, I think, 2 developers and a tiny home builder, so the committee can learn more about that.
Do we currently have zoning regs for tiny homes
We do,
classified?
well, we do not, but nor do we have a minimum housing size. Years ago, there was a case out of East Hampton that basically did away with the minimum housing size. We used to, years and years ago, have a minimum housing size in Rocky Hill. We did away with that to comply with that court case. So technically, we could have a tiny home built in town. But I think Appendix AQ of the building code, which we are not party to here, but it does have tiny homes, and it's 400 square feet. I think it's 400 square feet.
I've always thought they were portable, on wheels type thing, almost like a RV type thing. I guess they could be permanent.
They could be on, they
What-
could be
what
on
is- what is the-
foundations.
What do we call?
They could be on foundations, because a 200 square foot structure, I believe per building code, only because I have a shed that has a foundation, that's 200 square feet.
What do we call the structure? I thought it was a ADU.
Accessory
Yeah,
dwelling?
accessory
Yeah.
dwelling unit.
That can't be as big as the original house, and
That could technically be a
that could be a tiny home. too.
tiny home, yeah.
Yeah, so an that's what I thought. Okay.
But there are building codes, there are
Yeah.
building codes specifically for it. We do not have zoning regulations for it. We have setbacks for structures. We don't call it out because it really, I don't see the need to call it out specifically for.
Kim, what's our smallest lot size for a single-family residence? Is it half acre? Do we have? do we have any-
Presently, it's 20,000 square feet.
So so roughly half acre.
Yeah, now, we have to update our zoning regs to comply with the Plan and Conservation Development. That's one of the first major undertakings of this board.
Well, yeah,
So a consideration on smaller lot sizes is certainly something you may want to do.
I mean, tiny homes are only going to be viable if they're on tiny lots. You're not going
Or
to put a 400 square foot
common
house
interest
on
community,
a
a
half
common
acre lot.
interest, a common interest community, do that.
Right, okay, yep.
Yeah, you could do that as well. Pardon? Yeah. We have some properties in town out by, like Red Fox, I believe, Augusta Circle, in that area that's more of a common interest community, but those units are bigger than what we're talking about with respect to tiny homes.
But that's different zoning, I assume, for planned,
Planned
you know,
unit
PUDs. You can't put that in a single-family residence zone, though, I assume, can you? Or special permit?
No,
How-
we
how
we
do
have to, we have to modify our regs. We have to modify our regs.
Okay. I mean, it's not, I guess that's one specific thing to think about. If we want to encourage or at least give a shot at the so-called tiny homes, you would need a zone that conforms to that.
Correct.
Whether it's as single-family residence on individual lots or as a planned unit development or whatever, but.
Correct.
Food for thought. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But I like where you're going. I like the thought process.
Thank you.
So that's it for Affordable Housing Committee?
I say so, yes.
And again, you'll be reporting to us each meeting. That's the update. Legislation?
We've attended, both Ben and I were in attendance at a meeting through CCM with respect to the new housing legislation. There'll be a lot of things coming up with respect to regulation changes. Does the town, once again, want to go with the regional affordable housing plan? Or does the town want to go on their own and do their own affordable housing plan to be updated every 5 years? There's a lot of carrots versus sticks if you go along with the regional housing plan with respect to financing options, grants, that type of thing. So we're kind of weeding through the 104-page law, and I can certainly get you synopses of that, or I can get you the whole shebang. I don't think you want to read that, though. But there's another webinar providing a different perspective on it tomorrow afternoon. I'll be participating in. With the regional affordable housing plan, the Capital Region Council of Governments will be assigning and coming up with numbers of units for communities that they must create. Probably a little more realistic than 10% that our 830G statutes have indicated. As part of the plan, municipalities will be doing their own kind of appendix to the regional plan. So we'll be using our affordable housing plan as kind of a guide, which is in our POCD. So this will be coming down the pike, probably starting the end of this calendar year. So.
Is that it for legislation?
I think so, yes.
Communications?
I have in your packet the list of meeting dates and deadlines. I know that was given out when we did have some individual meetings. We made, like tonight, for example, I did not know that there was a group in here before us, so we may want to have, if we're going to be doing a special meeting on the fourth Wednesday of the month, we may need to bump the time back slightly. I don't know, but I just put it out there as an FYI.
Do you know when they meet?
I didn't know that they were going to be in here, so.
Do they meet on the same days as we do, same time, every month?
No, we usually meet on the third Wednesday of every month.
We usually meet on the third Wednesday. This was
a special.
This was special, and we typically set aside the fourth Wednesday of the month as special meetings if we have regulation reviews to do, or maybe it's a big controversial hearing. And I did it this time because you folks were appointed, one day prior to our regular meeting, which was kind of crazy to try to organize.
But next month, that might be an issue because it's the 25th, which is the.
We
That's
did,
our normal meeting.
well, no, actually,
Special meeting.
yeah, I think we changed the meeting date in February because looking at, when we prepare the meeting schedule, we look at a list of international holidays, and based upon populations in town, I think there was one holiday, and I don't remember the name of it, but there was one holiday that I guess was significant for a significant population in the town of Rocky Hill. So we opted not to hold our meeting on that day out of respect for, that's what we did there. We have, as an FYI, I put in the packet, and I do take some poetic license with what I put in the packet, just so you know. As I learn people's personalities and what interests people, I will put certain things in the packet that may be of interest to you. Right now I put things in the packet that I think you should know. And is public information. It was in the town council packet. It was budget priorities and focus areas. It was to the town council from Ray Carpentino, our town manager. So, and you can see there were 10 primary items, and planning and land use is number 7, and it's not in any particular order. But the implement the plan of conservation development is certainly something that this commission needs to focus on. And this is what they're talking about as far as budget priorities. So that means fiscal fiscal dollars will be thrown that way. Affordable housing plan initiatives, resiliency plan, and complete streets initiatives. Economic development, approving efficiencies and effectiveness, and I added processes, and especially for Planning and Zoning Commission and complete streets. So this is something that, please review. We had a letter that is related to a subdivision that the previous commission approved, but you should be aware that if items come before you and they require state approval, in this case, the State Department of Transportation, there will be follow-up correspondence from them when they approve the plan or review the plan. And because the commission has acted on the plan, I send you the follow-up. So this is follow-up to a subdivision recently approved by Planning and Zoning Commission at 565 West Street. It's on the corner of Gilbert and West, right across from Arborg. So this is follow-up to that. The only other thing I'd like to say is welcome aboard. I'm glad you're here. I look forward to working with you all. I do have a list of names and contact information, phone numbers, and email addresses. I want to make sure that people tell me which name they want me to put on your nameplate. We didn't have time to order nameplates, so I'm going to pass this around. If you could make sure either the name here is adequate, or do you want to be called by a more familiar name? Instead of Kimberly, I prefer Kim. I sign my correspondence Kimberly, but it's so much easier to say Kim. But we're going to be getting you nameplates as well. In conversations with Dana McGee, who is our HR director, but also our director of legal compliance for the town, we were talking about email addresses, because I know that some of you have had town email addresses in the past. I'm looking into whether or not we can use those again to see if we can. If not, keep in mind, I do send out correspondence via email as far as agendas go, or if, a reminder for a meeting. Substantive things about applications, you probably don't want to do by email. The reason why I say that is if it's public, it can be public information, and that email address could be subject to what's called the Freedom of Information Act, where people, if they request public records, they could technically get a hold of that email. Some people have set up separate Gmail accounts just for planning and zoning or just for Wetlands Commission, what have you. But I have some questions out there asking if we can do town email addresses. So I'll get that. I'll contact each of you if I find that out. We can do that. But I want to pass this around to see if you could let me know which name or how you want to be called on your nameplate, and if your phone number is correct, and email.
Thank you.
I also have some Mylar plans that do need to be signed. They were approved by Planning and Zoning Commission, so this body, but the previous group of people. So they will have to be signed by the secretary or the chairman of the commission. And we have them here, so they can either be signed this evening, or they could be signed, you can come into the office and sign them. That does not have to be done on the record.
Are these emails the ones that you're gonna be using, or are we gonna have time to create a new email for
for,
If you wanted to create a new email strictly for this, I would, let me know as soon as you get that.
Well, you're going to look into see if we get a town email, right?
I will ask.
Okay.
We haven't done that yet, so, but I will ask.
anything else? Communications?
I think I'm
I think I want
done.
to change my email address on there.
But I would,
Victor thinks so, too.
invite anybody to.
Did you get my bill
No,
Yeah.
no,
for the approved bill? Did you get my bill
What bill?
to approve?
No.
Make a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What, just hold on a second.
Oh.
Approved bills, so what kind of bills do we get?
If you have a consultant, typically, if you have a consultant working
Oh, for the
for
commission,
some reason, yeah,
but typically there's not really any bills.
correct.
Okay. And just one quick thing, thank you, Victor, for holding my hand.
Yeah.
Hopefully start getting the flow of this.
You'll get it.
And I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Hit it.
Oh, I get to hit it.